Hey guys, it's Lee from the Lemonade Stand. I'm doing a quick video today. I am at my home, I'm not at the studio today. But many of you are going to be receiving your do-it-yourself packages that you've ordered in the mail. And many of them have vinyl stencils that come with them. So I wanted to show you how I get my vinyl stencil onto my wood or pillow. Okay, could be either one. There are instructions included in the kits, but I just wanted to show you in person as well, because sometimes it's easier for people to understand when they can see it. So this is what your vinyl stencil would look like. It could be black or blue, okay, the vinyl. It has transfer tape on top of it. And then there's a back, and I've marked, it's hard to see, but I've marked back on all of the stencils. The idea is to get the stencil on your wood board or pillow without the transfer tape, which is that film on the top, or the backing. So all that's left is the black part or the blue part, okay? So I'm going to be using, I don't have, because I'm at home, I don't have a lot of supplies here, so I'm just using a piece of wood, so it's not painted. You would have painted yours, and your paint, you would have let it dry. Pillow, you don't need to do that, obviously. You would just put the stencil right on. So just picture this as a painted board that is dried now, okay? So I have already kind of pressed all of this down. And what I mean by press is really, I wanted the transfer tape to really stick to the stencil. So I use kind of a scallop type thing. And I just press it to get it to stick really well. You're going to be doing something similar once we get the vinyl on here. But the first thing we need to do is take the backing off of the stencil. So I'm going slow, and the reason I'm going slow is because sometimes you will get pieces of the stencil stuck on here. So you have to kind of put it back on, press it, and try again, okay? So I'm slowly removing this. Oh, see how one is sticking there onto the backing, which we don't want, right? So I'm gonna come back down here, and I'm just going to press. Okay, and now it's sticking. Just go slow. Okay, there's a little bit more. I don't want that on the white piece of paper there. So I'm just going to press, or you can use your hands and just rub, okay? For those of you that don't have a piece, you can use a credit card. You can use Pampered Chef if you have anything like that, okay? These are the scrapers from Pampered Chef. Or just use your hands and just press really well, okay? So let's go. Oh, still sticking. So this piece is being a little stubborn, and I specifically picked this stencil because there's so many details in it. But there, I'm just pressing down to make sure that is all staying together. And there we have it. So you can see this backing is now off. There's no other black or blue pieces on it. So you can just set that aside, and here's your stencil. So now you have the backing off, but we still have the transfer tape on it. This is sticky, so you don't want the stickies touching, because then you'll never get it apart, okay? What you're going to do is place your stencil on your either pillow or board. Line it up best you can, and I've made that fairly simple for you because all of the stencils have borders around them. So that makes it a lot easier to line up your piece, okay? So I'm just going to quickly line this up. This board's a little bit bigger because of that's all I had at home. So I've kind of got it where I want on here. Next step now is to take your credit card or your Pampered Chef, something flat, or just your hand, okay? And you're going to press all over this, because what you now want is you want the stencil sticking to the wood or the pillow. Okay, so I'm going to press all over. Okay, I gave it a good press. And now what we need to do is get the transfer tape off. So my biggest tip here is to use a 180-degree angle and go slowly. Okay, so this is what I mean by 180-degree angle. Not like this, not pulling like this, because all you're doing is pulling the vinyl up. Flat, and I use my hands to help keep things down. And I'm just slowly taking this off. Sometimes you'll get a piece of vinyl that will come up on the transfer tape. Just go back down, press, and keep going. Because you want the full stencil on here. You don't want any of the little pieces like the middle of the A sticking on the tape, okay? So if you go slow, you can really keep an eye on. All right, so that's garbage now. So that's one part of the transfer tape. Now I'm gonna move on to the bigger piece. Again, I'm just gonna go slowly. These pieces are sticking on pretty well. Now the reason I use this stencil because it didn't cut right, so it's kind of junky. This is all supposed to have little black spots in here. So it's a garbage stencil, that's why I'm using it as a sample. All right, see how that's all coming off? There. So now your backing is off, your transfer tape is off, and all you're left is with the stencil. Now is when you would paint. If you like, you can put some tape up here if you're worried about any of the paint getting on the back of your board. But now what you're going to do is paint. So whatever colors you've chosen and the sponge applicators that I gave you, you're going to dip it in the paint, wipe off the excess paint, and dab up and down. Don't swirl because these stencils are very thin because they're vinyl. Dab up and down, up and down, up and down. And then once you're done filling everything in, let's just pretend this is all painted now. What you do is you take the vinyl off. And when you take the vinyl off, I mean, this is a bad example because I don't have any paint, but you're going to see the paint left on here. And you're going to have little pieces that are going to stay on the board. So what you need to do with those little pieces of vinyl is pick them off. You can use a craft knife or tweezers. A sharp toothpick might even work just to get those little pieces off there. You can also use your fingernail. You just don't want to damage the paint is all, okay? And once you have everything off and picked off, you're left with just your beautiful sign or pillow with the paint on the board. And that's it, guys. Thanks for watching.